actually always loved drinking coffee. Even when I was like 10 or 12 years old, I actually started drinking coffee way back then. In 2012, I wanted to start learning on how to roast my own coffee, and my father-in-law, he had done it in a cast iron skillet. I unfortunately never got to meet him. He had passed away from cancer, but that's part of the story of Omage is, homage to him and the mythology of doing it that way as a start. And so I started learning how to do it in a cast iron skillet, and I did that for about 4 years. I'm roasting a cast iron skillet in a garage, and kind of just grew it into a small business. Roasting coffee is not super complicated. It's essentially heat and agitation. If you have a electric popcorn air popper, you can roast 95% foolproof coffee just because you're applying heat to a seed and it puts it through these different kinds of changes, and what you get is this roasted product that you can then grind, steep it with water, and you get coffee. Anyone can really do it. A lot of people have done it in skillets. People have tried roasting in ovens. There's a multitude of different kinds of home roasting applications that you can use to produce good coffee. Where it kind of gets a little bit more artisanal is using what's called a drum roaster. That's when you have the little bit more ability to apply the art and science behind it, because then you're able to change what kind of heat you're applying. It's not necessarily direct heat, it's indirect heat. You're able to use airflow and all these other different parameters to kind of coax the best possible flavor out of those beans that you're using. Coffee is a seed, it's a food product, and it's best to just look at it that way. If you take good quality green beans and you apply heat in a correct fashion, you're going to get really good coffee. What makes our coffees different than those other larger brands is that we only buy specialty coffee. So that means coffee is graded on a 100-point scale, and so specialty means that it's just 82 points and above. So all of our coffees are all specialty coffees. We range anywhere from 82 to 88 point coffees. Very rarely will you ever see coffees that is above a 91 or 92 points. Every once in a while we'll have some of those. We're buying high quality coffees, some of the best quality coffees in the world. So right there is a big determining factor of why our coffee tastes better. We also buy coffees from different parts of the world and different farms that spend a lot of attention to detail. It's just like any other agricultural crop. The care and quality that goes into it is going to then in turn turn into a better quality, even down to the processing. Coffee comes on a evergreen tree. It's a little shrub. You have to take care in the processing of that seed. It's actually remarkable that we can end up with a really good cup of coffee because they're grown all over the world, usually in third world countries, high in the mountains. They're then picked, and picking is its own art and science, and then down to the processing and the fermentation of the seed. And then it gets shipped across on shipping containers and then ends up in the US where it's then roasted, and in all of those steps doing what we need to do that we can get a good product. Most of the coffees that we purchase, those farmers are getting a little bit extra dollar because coffee is a C commodity. It's traded on the stock market. It has a market value every single day. We try to support farmers and support companies that pay above that price. So a lot of times if you see fair traded or direct trade coffee, a direct trade means you literally bought it from the farmer. So you'll see a lot of these artisanal roasters that will just throw that word around because there's no certification of it. They're not really doing true direct trade. Cafe Imports is who we mainly supply from. They're one of the larger ones, but they focus so much on the farmers, and we believe in that. So they set up a lot of programs, they help a lot of co-ops, they try to highlight women producing coffees as well, and we pay extra prices for those kinds of coffees just because we want to make sure that they continue growing coffee. We generally like to sell whole bean. Keeping it in that state is going to ensure a better cup as you go to brew. Grind consistency is one of the biggest things that I can say for having a good cup of coffee is having the right kind of grind for the brew method and making sure that it's a good consistent grind. Those grinders at the grocery store, those are good grinders actually. It's better than if you have even like a blade grinder and grinding fresh. If you're not getting a good consistent grind out of that blade grinder, you're better off grinding little amounts of coffee at a time and making sure your bag is sealed. But we generally sell all of our coffees in the store a whole bean. We started selling at the Little Red Organics farmers markets, and they've been a really good supporter of us. You can get us through their online store. You can message us on Facebook for online sales. You can pick it up in the store at the market on US 10 and the Evergreen Natural Foods Market. You can also get it at Starving Artist Brewery Company, where the roaster's really at. And Andy and Michelle Thomas have been really great for our growth, and we're really fortunate to be working with them. You can get cups of it at Humanity. You can also get it in the restaurant at Ludington Bay.